I wanted to do an update on the split that I made the other day. You may be able to tell just by looking at this that that guy is the split, and it was over there. So why did I move it? Well, I probably should have taken a video in between to show what had happened, but when I put it over there, it got so full of bees that they were just spilling out all over the place. I ended up putting 2 boxes on top of it, so it was 3 high. And even then, there were just bees bearding all around the front, hanging out. And I think it's because I don't have drawn comb. I only have undrawn frames that I have in those boxes. So, workers aren't as good at drawing comb as nurse bees are, and I just didn't have enough nurse bees to workers, and I didn't have anything for the workers. I mean, they can't fill undrawn comb with honey, so it was sort of a waste of my workforce. I think if I had drawn comb, it actually would have been pretty legit, because the honey flow is starting, and they probably could have stored a bunch of honey before they made a queen. I could have extracted it and put the comb back in and got like a big harvest early in the season. But since I don't have that drawn comb, it just wasn't really a great move. So day 2, I ended up reversing them back. You can see there's some bees going in and out here, even though they're like right next to each other. They've got a good number of nurse bees in there, and the nurse bees aren't going to go anywhere. They're not going to leave the brood. I am feeding to make sure they've got everything they need, even though there is a flow on. They don't have a lot of workers. I've got this jar over here for them too. They're starting to slow down on it because all our citrus is starting to bloom this week. So that citrus bloom is pretty big down here in California. It kind of signals the beginning of the honey flow, the real honey flow. I mean, there's a little flow all the way through the winter, but like the real heavy flow starts, I think, with the citrus. So I supered this hive today. That's a 9 frames of undrawn comb, just new foundation with plastic and wax. In the middle frame, I moved up from this box, from the outside, this outside edge here, and it's nectar, and I put that in the middle of this box, and then there's a queen excluder. So then the empty that I took out of the top to make room for that nectar frame went towards the center of this box for a brood comb, and they've brood, cap brood and eggs and everything up in this box. So it's still brood chamber, obviously, since the queen excluder is above it. But this workforce is huge in this hive, and this is a lot better. It was making me nervous because there was so much activity around this split with those bees bearding, and they were just like looking like they were ready to swarm. They were very upset because their home was disturbed, and I can't really afford to draw too much attention to my bees here, because look how close my neighbors are. Now, these neighbors, I've lived next door to them since I was a kid. This is a home that belongs to my family that I'm lucky enough to get to live in and rent from them. So I've known them forever, and thankfully, they're really cool about this, but I still don't want to do anything that's gonna create problems, so having a whole big swarm of bees flying around it scares people. So this is much better, and I really don't need 2 bumper crop hives right now, and I can't do that with a split anyway. You got to kind of choose bees or honey. It's kind of hard to do both with a split, so I'm content with this, starting a second hive from this one, and have to keep an eye on this to make sure it doesn't need to be split again. But I went through that entire hive, and there's no queen cells, so they aren't thinking of swarming yet, thankfully. So keep an eye on it, keep you updated. Do like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or snide remarks, do me a favor, leave them in the comments. Have a great day, and God bless.